And we're back, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. So let's talk about Tomb Raider. Let's look back on it. It's the 1996 classic. So it came out 22 years ago. And that's a long time ago. I played it way back then, and I really loved that game. But 22 years later, this game or the series is very relevant because recently we saw the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and that really got me thinking, why is it that this series is so relevant even to this day and age? And I mean, it made me replay the classic. And looking back on the old game, a lot of people say that it really paved the way for other strong female leads in games, and surely that is a true word. I think it did do a lot for the sort of emancipation of women, and that a game could feature a strong female character that was sexy but also independent and just very adventurous. Having sold 7 million copies or something like that, that really did a lot for the fact that just women can be subject to a very good game, can be leading in games as well. So surely, but also the series sort of paved the way for other third-person action-adventure games that came out later. I mean, without Tomb Raider, we wouldn't have Assassin's Creed. You know, without Tomb Raider, we wouldn't have the Uncharted series. It really got me thinking again, what is it that makes this game so important or interesting or appealing to people? Besides the whole thing, the whole female lead thing. I mean, it can be the graphics, because looking back on the old graphics in 1996 graphics, it looks very crude. Although personally, I do like the pixelated style of the graphics. The three. It's sort of what's interesting is that back then there were a lot of 2D games, but here it feels like it tried to bring together the old 2D sprite-based graphics and mix it with actual 3D graphics. So it's sort of a transitional game from the old ways to the new ways. The transition to 3D worlds that you could explore. I actually prefer the old graphics over the 3D accelerated graphics of the time, because yes, the game did look, and I'll show you here some footage of that. It looks sharper, it looks better, but also it lost a bit of its charm because of that, because of the fact that it wasn't really pixelated anymore. It looked sharper, but also rough around the edges still. One aspect of the game didn't age very well, and that is the gameplay, especially the controls. The controls are actually quite bad if you compare it to current standards, actually. I mean, as you are moving Lara through the environments, the camera also moves, so the camera sort of switches and turns as you move Lara, and it makes the whole thing kind of confusing at times, especially in combat. So the camera will sort of swoops to various sides, and also moving Lara can be somewhat cumbersome. The controls are kind of clumsy, especially in relation to the environments. So for instance, you really have to place Lara in a very specific place so that she can actually pull the lever that will open a door elsewhere. So it really requires you to move around and adjust Lara's position towards the environment. So the game didn't age well. I wouldn't recommend you guys actually playing this game, the old game, actually, because you're gonna get frustrated with it. But fortunately, in 2007, and I'll show you some footage of that, the Tomb Raider Anniversary was released. It is, in my opinion, an example of how remakes should be done. because it's not the game just with a new lick of paint. It adds a lot of new stuff to the game, new environments. Also, the controls have been revamped, and it plays a hell lot better. So I think this is how a actual remake should be done. Not just a lick of paint or just an update of the graphics, but also make it a better game. And the anniversary did that. So if you guys want to replay or re-experience the first Tomb Raider game, I would highly recommend you seek out the Tomb Raider Anniversary game, because it has the same content, but it looks better, it plays better, and you'll just get this sense of why this particular series is so popular. And it has a lot to do, in my opinion, but I could be wrong, has a lot to do with the sense of adventure that you get from playing it. You actually feel like you're this explorer, that you are the first person to go into this temple or to explore this cave, and that there are treasures and that you just have to find them. I think that is in its core what the Tomb Raider series is all about. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys about Tomb Raider. Let me know what you think. Leave comments, subscribe. I appreciate that. And see you next time.